luggage?
I left it at the station. I walked up from Haslemere.
Oh, and who's to fetch it?
Don't know, don't care. Providence, probably, if not your mother will have it fetched.
Not her business exactly, is it?
Of course not. That's why one loves her for doing it. Look here, chuck away your silly weekend novel and talk to a chap. After a week in that filthy office, my brain is simply blue moldy. Let's argue about something intellectual.
No! Now seriously, Bunny. I've come down here to have a pleasant weekend, and I'm not going to stand your confounded arguments. If you want to argue, get out of this and go over to the Congressionalist ministers. He's a neighbour at arguing. He likes it.
You can't argue with a person whose livelihood depends on his not letting you convert him. And would you mind not calling me Bunny? My name is Bentley Summerhays, would you please?
Oh, what's the matter with Bunny?
It puts me in a false position. Have you ever considered the fact that I was an afterthought?
An afterthought? What do you mean by that? No, stop. I don't want to know. It's only a dodge to start an argument.
Don't be afraid. It won't overtax your brain. My father was 44 when I was born. My mother was 41. There was 12 years between me and the next eldest. I was unexpected. I was probably unintentional. My brothers and sisters not the least like me. They're the regular thing you always get in the first batch from young parents. Quite pleasant, ordinary, do the regular things sort. Oh, body and no brains. Like you.
Thank you.
Don't mention it, little chap. Now, I'm different. By the time I was born, the couple knew something, so I came out all brains and no more body than is absolutely necessary. I'm really a good deal older than you, though you were born sooner. Everybody feels that when they hear us talk. Consequently, though, it's quite natural to hear me calling you Johnny. It sounds ridiculous and unbecoming for you to call me Bunny.
Does it, by George? You stop me doing it if you can. That's all.
If you go on doing it after I've asked you not, you should feel an awful swine. At least I should, but I suppose you're not so particular.
I'll tell you what it is, my boy. You want a good talking to, and I'm going to give it to you. If you think that because your father's a KCB and you want to marry my sister, you can make yourself as nasty as you please and say what you like, you're mistaken. Let me tell you that except Hypatia, not one person in this house is in favour of her marrying you. I don't believe she's happy about it herself. If the match isn't settled yet, don't forget that. You're on trial in the office because the governor isn't giving his daughter money for an idle man to live on her. You're on trial here because my mother thinks that a girl should know what a man is like before she marries him. That's been going on for 2 months now, and what's the result? You've got yourself thoroughly disliked in the office, and you're getting yourself thoroughly disliked here, all through your bad manners and your conceit, and the damned impudence you think...
That's enough, thank you! You don't suppose I hoped that I would come down here if I'd known that was the way you felt about me?
No, you don't know the way about this happened. Sit down, you hear? That's the advantage of having more body than brains. It enables me to teach you manners, and I'm going to do it too. You're a spoiled young pup, and you need a jolly good licking, and if you're not careful, you'll get it. I'll see to that the next time you call me a swine.
I didn't call you a swine! Ah! But you are a swine! You're a beast! You're a brute! You're a cad! You're a liar! You're a bully! I should like to wring your damn neck for you!
Oh, try, my son. Fighting isn't in your line. You're too small and you're too childish. I always suspected that your cleverness wouldn't come to very much when it was brought up against something solid. Some decent chap's fist, for instance.
I hope your beastly fist may come up against a mad bull or a prize fighter's nose, or something solider than me. I don't care about your fist. But if everyone here dislikes me, well, I don't care. I didn't know. I'm sorry I intruded. You beast! You pig! Swine, 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 now!
All right, my lad, all right. Sling your mud as hard as you please. It won't stick to me. Now, what I want to know is this. How is it that your father, who I suppose is the strongest man England has produced in our time...
You got that out of your halfpenny paper! A lot we knew about him.
I don't set out to be able to do anything but admire him and appreciate him and be proud of him as an Englishman. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have stood your cheek for 2 days, let alone 2 months. But what I can't understand is why he didn't lick it out of you when you were a kid. And for 25 years, he kept a place twice as big as England in order. And yet he couldn't keep you in order. Well, I don't set out to be half the man your father undoubtedly is, but by George, it's lucky for you, you are not my son. I don't tell my own father's views about corporal punishment being wrong. It's necessary for some people, and I'd have tried it on you until you first learned to howl and behave yourself.
Yes! Behaviour wouldn't come naturally to your son, would it?
Don't you keep a civil tongue in your head. I'll stand down of your snobbery. I'm just as proud of Tarleton's underwear as you are of your father's title as KCB and all the rest of it. My father began in a little hole of a shop in Leeds, no bigger than the pantry down the passage there.
Oh, yes! I know! I've read it! The Romance of Business, or the story of Tarleton's underwear. Please take one!
Pity your father didn't leave your thin skin a jolly good lacing with a cane.
Oh, pity you haven't got more than one idea. If you want to know, they did try that on me once when I was a small kid. A silly governess did it. I had a fit to bring down the house and went into convulsions and brain fever and that sort of thing for 3 weeks. So the old girl got the second supper right. After that, I was let to do what I liked.
A jolly good thing for you, my father made you come into the office and show what you were made of. And it didn't come to much, let me tell you that. When the governor asked me where I thought we ought to put you, I said, making the office boy. The governor said you were too green, and so you were.
I dare say, so would you be pretty green if you were shoved into my father's set. I picked up your silly business a fortnight. You've been at it 10 years and you haven't picked it up yet.
Don't talk rot, child. You simply make me pity you.
Romance business indeed. The real romance of Tarleton's business is the story that you understand anything about it. You never could answer any mortal thing about it to me when I asked you. See what was done the last time. That was the beginning and the end of your wisdom. You're nothing but a turnspit.
A what?
A turnspit! If your father had made you a roosting jack to tell you'd be earning 24 shillings a week behind the counter.
If you don't take that back and apologize for your bad manners, I shall give you as good a hiding as ever.
Johnny's baby!
Oh, ridiculous boys, man. I'm not going to chat to you. Be quiet. Oh,
What's the matter? Oh, don't cry like that. What's the use? Come here, what has happened? Here, child. There, it's all right. Don't cry. There. Johnny will go to the doctor and he'll get you something nice to make it well. Johnny, what has happened? Was it a wasp?
Oh, waspy dad!
Oh, Bunny, that was a naughty word.
Yes, I know. I beg your pardon. That's all right. Johnny frightened me. You know how easy it is to hurt me, and I'm too small to defend myself against Johnny.
Johnny, how often have I told you that you must not bully the little ones? I thought you'd outgrown all that.
I do declare, Mama, that Johnny's brutality makes it impossible to live in the house with him.
It's been years, Mother, since you had that row with me for licking Robert and giving Hypatia a black eye because she bit me. I promised you then that I'd never raise my hand to one of them again, and I've never broken my word. And now, because this young welder begins to cry out before he's hurt, you treat me as if I were a brute savage.
No, dear, not a savage, but you know you must not call our visitor naughty names.
Oh, let him alone.
Don't you interfere between my mother and me, do you hear?
Johnny's lost his temper, Mother. We'd better go. Come, Bentley.
Yes, that would be best. Johnny doesn't mean any harm, dear. He'll be himself presently. Come.
Smash it! Don't hesitate, it's an ugly thing. Smash it hard! Feel better now?
Yeah.
All right, young man. Come with me. You know,
Sorry.
there is only one person alive who dragged me to the point of either having to smash crystal or commit murder.
Please, here we go.
There is only one person alive who could drive me to the point of either having to smash crystal or commit murder. That person is my son, Bentley. Was it he? As the car stopped, I thought I heard a yell which is only too familiar to me. It generally means that some infuriated person is trying to thrash Bentley. Nobody has ever succeeded, though almost everybody has tried. Bentley is a problem which I must confess I have never been able to solve. He was born to be a great success at the age of 50. Most Englishmen of his class were born to be great successes at the age of 24 at most. The domestic problem for me is how to endure Bentley until he's 50. The problem for the nation is how to have itself governed by men whose growth is arrested at little more than college lads. doesn't really mean to be offensive. You can always make him cry by telling him you don't like him. Only he cries so loudly that the experiment should take place in the open air, in the middle of Salisbury Plain, if possible. He has a hard, penetrating intellect and a remarkable ability to look facts in the face. But unfortunately, being very young, he has no idea how little of that the rest of us can stand. On the other hand, he's frightfully sensitive, even affectionate. So he probably gets as good as he gives when it comes to hurt feelings. You'll forgive me going on like this about my son.
You did it on purpose. I wasn't quite myself. I needed a moment to pull around, thank you.
Not at all. Is your father at home?
No, he's opening one of his free libraries. That's another nice little Pentagon. He's mad on reading. He promised to run a free library last week. It's ruinous. They'll hate you as well as me when Bunny marries Hypatia. When all Hypatia's money is thrown away on free libraries, where would Bunny come in? Can't you stop him?
I'm afraid not. He's a perfect whirlwind, indefatigable when it comes to public work. Wonderful man, I think.
Public work. He does too much of it. I wish you'd talk to him about it. It's no use my saying anything. I'm a child of him still. I've no influence. Besides, you know how to handle men. See how you handled me when I was making a fool of myself about Bunny?
Not at all.
Oh, yes, I was. I know I was. Well, if my blessed father had come in, he'd have told me to control myself as if I was losing my temper on purpose.
Hello, Commander. Have you come? I've been making a filthy silly ass of myself here. I'm awfully sorry, Johnny, old chap. I beg your pardon. Why don't you kick me when I go on like that?
As we came through Godalming, I thought I heard some yelling.
I should think you did. Johnny was rather rough on me, though. Told me nobody here liked me, and I was silly enough to believe him.
And all the women have been kissing you and pitying you ever since, I suppose, to stop your crying, baby.
I didn't cry. I always feel good after crying. It relieves my wretched nerves.
Not at all ashamed, for instance.
If I started being ashamed of myself, I shouldn't have time for anything else all my life. I say, I feel very fit and spry. Let's all go down and meet the Grand Sham.
Does Mr. Tarleton like being called the Grand Sham, do you think, Bentley?
Well, he thinks he's too modest for it. Calls himself plain John. But you can't call him that in his own office, and besides, it doesn't suit him. It's not flamboyant enough.
What?
Flamboyant. Let's go meet him. He's telephoned from the Guildford to say he's on the road. The dear old son is always telephoning and telegraphing. He thinks he's hustling along like anything, but he's only sending unnecessary messages.
Thank you. I should prefer a quiet afternoon.
Right here. I shan't risk Johnny. He's had enough of me for one weekend.
Not a bad idea, that.
What?
Going to meet the governor. You know you wouldn't think it, but the governor likes Bunny rather. And Bunny's cultivating it. I shouldn't be surprised if he could squeeze me out one of these days.
You don't say so, young rascal. I should like to consult you about him if you don't mind. Shall we stroll over to the gibbet? Bentley is too fast for me as a walking companion, but I should like a short turn.
Right you are. That'll suit me down to the ground.
Oh, Lord Summerhays, I didn't know you were here. Won't you have some tea?
No, thank you. I'm not allowed tea. And I'm ashamed to say that I have broken one of your lovely pieces of crystal. You should let me replace it.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm only too glad to be rid of it.
We're going out for a stroll, Mother.
All right, don't let us keep you. Never mind about the crystal. I'll get the girl to come and take the pieces away. So the offer you your work without another way. I wonder whether they laugh at us when they're by themselves. Who? Bentley and his father and all the tops in their set. Oh, that's only their way. You needn't be afraid of the aristocracy here. They're only human creatures like ourselves, and you'll hold your own things, you know. Oh, I'm not a bit afraid of them, I assure you. Well, no, not afraid of them exactly, but you've got to pick up their ways. When you marry Bunny and all of the women of his father's set, they'll shock you at first. Ah, well, the things they talk about. Oh, gossip mongering? No, we all do that. That's only human nature. But, you know, they've no notion of decency. I shall never forget the first Irishman with a marchioness, 2 duchesses, and no inn, and ladies, this and that. Of course, there was only a committee they'd put me on to get a big subscription out of John. I never heard such talk in my life. plumbing to their husbands. I shouldn't think much of a man who does such things to me.
Don't think that, dear, whatever you do. I never let on about it to you, but it's me that takes care of the plumbing here. After what that countess said to me, I wasn't going to lose another child or trust John. And I don't want my grandchildren to die any more than my children.
Do you think Bentley will ever be as big a man as his father? I don't mean clever, I mean big and strong.
Oh, not he. He's overbred, like one of those expensive little dogs. I like a bit of mongrel myself, whether it's a man or a dog. They're the best for every day. But we all have our tastes. What's one woman's meat is another woman's poison. Bunny's a dear little fellow, but I never could have fancied him for a husband when I was your age.
Oh, I don't mind your saying that about Bentley. It's true, he's a little squid of a thing. Ugh, I wish he wasn't. But who else is there? Think of all the other chances I've had. Not one of them has as much brains in his whole body as Bentley has in his little finger. Besides, there's no distinction. It's as much as I can do to tell one from the other. They wouldn't even have money if they weren't the sons of their fathers like Johnny. What's a girl to do? I've never met anybody like Bentley before. He may be small, but he's the best of the bunch. You can't deny that.
But my pet, if you fancy him, there's no more to be said.
Mother, do you think marriage is as much a question of fancy as it used to be in your time and father's?
It wasn't much fancy with me, dear. Your father just wouldn't take no for an answer.
I can imagine all sorts of men I could fall in love with, but I never seem to meet them.
Does all that mean you're not in love with Bunny?
Oh, how could anybody be in love with Bunny? Oh, sure, I like him to kiss me just as I like a baby to kiss me. I'm fond of him and he never bores me, and I see that he's very clever, but I'm not what you call gone about him, if that's what you mean.
Then why didn't you marry him?
What better can I do? I must marry somebody, I suppose.
You've got to keep yourself fresh. Learn to look at these things with an open mind.
Quite right, quite right. I've often said so.
There's your father and Bunny with him.
Keep young. Keep your eye on me. That's the tip for you.
You think you're young, do you? You think I'm old?
Of course. Why do we get on so well together? You're the old josser and I'm the young cub.
That's all you know about it, my lad. How do, Patsy? How's my chickabiddy? Old Josser, look at my face. What is it? I ask you, what is it?
Jolly nice and venerable, man. Don't be discouraged.
Nice. Not a bit of it. Venerable? Venerably blown. Read your Darwin, my boy. Read your Weissman.
For shame, John. Tell him to read his Bible.
What's the use of telling children to read the Bible when you know they won't? I was kept away from the Bible for years by being told to read it when I was young. Then I picked it up one evening in a hotel in Sunderland when I had left all my papers on the train, and I found it wasn't half bad. Better than most halfpenny papers, anyhow, if only you could make people believe it. Of course, if you want to understand aging scientifically, read Darwin and Weissman. If you want to understand aging romantically, read about Solomon.
Have you had your tea?
Yes, don't interrupt me when I'm improving the boy's mind. Where was I? Oh, yes. What is death?
John!
Death is a rather unpleasant subject, Papa.
Not a bit. Not scientifically. Scientifically, it's a delightful subject. You think death's natural? Well, it isn't. Read your Weissman. There wasn't any death to start with. You go look in any ditch outside, and you'll find swimming about there as fresh as paint some of the identical little live cells that Adam christened in the Garden of Eden. But if big things like us didn't die, we'd crowd one another off the face of the globe. Nothing survives, sir, except the sort of people with the sense and good manners to die and make room for fresh supplies. And so death was introduced by natural selection. You get it out of your head, my lad, that I'm going to die because I'm wearing out or decaying. There's no such thing as decay to a vital man. I shall wear out, but I shan't decay.
And what about the wrinkles? And the almond tree and the grasshopper that becomes a burden? And the desire that fails?
Does it, by George? No, sir. It spiritualizes. As to your grasshopper, I can carry an elephant.
You do say such things, Bunny. But what does he mean by the almond tree?
He means my aging countenance, the repulsive mask. That, my boy, is another invention of natural selection to disgust young women with me and give the lads a turn.
John, I won't have it. That's a forbidden subject.
They talk of the wickedness and vanity of women painting their faces and wearing auburn wigs at 50. But why shouldn't they? Why should a woman allow nature to put a false mask of age on her when she knows she's as young as ever? Why should she look in the glass and see a wrinkled lie, when a touch of fine art will show her a glorious truth. The wrinkles are a dodge to repel young men. Suppose she doesn't want to repel young men. Suppose she likes them.
Bunny, take Hypatia out of the grounds for a walk. There's a good boy. John's got one of his naughty fits this evening.
Oh, never mind me, I'm used to it.
I'm not. I've never heard such conversation before. I can't believe my ears. And mind you, this coming from the man who objected to my marrying his daughter on the grounds that a marriage between one of the great and good middle class with one of the vicious and corrupt aristocracy would be a misalliance. A misalliance, if you please. This is the man I've adopted as a father.
Yeah, what's that? Adopted me as a father, have you?
Yes, that's an idea of mine. I know a chap named Julius Percival, Oxford. Well, Julius was a most awfully clever fellow and oh so nice. I asked him what made such a difference between him and all the other pups. They were pups, if you like. He said it was very simple. They only had one father apiece and he had three.
Don't talk nonsense, child. How could that be?
Oh, very simple. His father.
Which father?
The first one, the regulation natural chap. He kept a tame philosopher in the house, a sort of Coleridge or Herbert Spencer kind of card, you know. That was the second father. Then the mother was an Italian priest. The mother kept an Italian priest about the house. He was supposed to take charge of her conscience, but from what I could make out, she jolly well took charge of his. The whole three of them took charge of Joey's conscience. He used to hear them arguing like mad about everything. Between the lot of them, Joey got cultivated to no end. He used to say he could have only had three mothers as well, and he backed himself against Napoleon.
That's an idea. That's a most interesting idea. A most important idea.
Bentley, couldn't you invite your friend Mr. Percival down here?
Not if I knew it, he'd throw me over the moment you set eyes on him.
No, Bunny, for shame.
Well, who'd marry me, do you suppose, if they could get my brains with a full-sized body? No, thank you. I should take jolly good care to keep Joey out of this until I fancy has passed brain for.
Welcome, welcome. Why have you stayed away so long?
Yes, I should have come sooner, but I'm still rather lost in England. Thank you. Fact is that I've nothing to do, and I never have time to go anywhere.
Paradox, paradox. Good. Paradoxes are the only truths. Read Chesterton. Still, there's lots for you to do here. You have a genius for government. You learned your job out there in Genghis Khan. Well, we want to be governed here in England. Govern us.
Ah, yes, my friend, but in Genghis Khan you have to govern the right way. If you don't, you go under and come home. I don't understand these democratic games, and I'm afraid I'm too old to learn.
Still, democracy's all right, you know. Read Mill, read Jefferson.
Yes, democracy reads well, but it doesn't act well, just like some people's plays.
Still, the Superman may come. The Superman's an idea. I believe in ideas. Read, what's his name?
Reading is a very dangerous amusement, Tarleton. I wish I could persuade your free library people of that.
Why, man, it's the beginning of an education.
On the contrary, it's the end of it. How can you teach a man to read until you've taught him everything else first?
Leave it at that, that's good sense. Anybody on for a game of tennis?
So, let's have some more improving conversation. Wouldn't you rather, Johnny?
If you ask me now.
Johnny, you don't cultivate your mind. You don't read.
Oh, yes, I do. I bet you what you like that page for page I read more than you. Though I don't talk about it so much. Only, I like a book with a plot in it. You like a book with nothing in it but some idea that the chapter writer keeps worrying like a cat chasing his own tail. Well, I can stand a little of it, just as I can stand watching the cat for 2 minutes. Say when I've nothing better to do. But a man soon gets fed up with that sort of thing. The fact is, if you look on an author as a sort of god, I look on him as a man that I pay to do a certain thing for me. I pay him to amuse me, to take me out of myself, to make me forget.
No, wrong principle. You want to remember. Read Kipling, lest we forget.
Well, if Kipling wants to remember, let him remember. If he had to run Tarleton's underwear, he'd be jolly glad to forget. As he has a much softer job and wants to keep himself before the public, his cry is, don't you forget the sort of thing I'm rather clever at writing about. I don't blame him, it's his business. I should do the same in his place. But what he wants and what I want are two different things. I want to forget, and I pay another man to make me forget. If I buy a book or go to the theatre, I want to forget myself and forget the shop from the moment I go in to the moment I come out. That's what I pay my money for. And if I find that the author is simply getting me the whole time, I consider that he's obtained my money under false pretenses.
You see, John, what have I always told you? Johnny has as much to say for himself as anybody when he likes.
Well, I'm no fool, Mother. Whatever some people may fancy. I don't set set up to have as many ideas as the governor, but what ideas I have are consecutive at all events. I can think as well as talk.
Hadn't you there, old man, hadn't you? You are rather all over the shop with your ideas, ain't you?
Well, I'm not saying anything against you, Governor, but I do say that the time has come for sane, healthy, unpretending men like me to make a stand against this conspiracy of the writing, talking, and artistic lot to put us in the back row. It isn't the fact that we're inferior to them, it's a put-up job, and it's they that have put the job up. It's we that run the country for them, and all the thanks we get is to be told we're Philistines and vulgar tradesmen and sordid city-men and so forth, and that they're all angels of light and leading. Well, the time has come to assert ourselves and put a stop to their stuck-up nonsense. Perhaps we had nothing better to do than talking or writing. We could do it better than they. Anyhow, they're the failures and refuse of business. Hardly a man of them that didn't begin in an office, and we're the successors of it. Thank God I haven't failed yet at anything, and I don't believe I should fail at literature if it would pay me to turn my hand to it.
Here, here.
Fancy you writing a book, Johnny. What do you think he could, Lord Summerhays?
Well, I don't see why not. In fact, all the really prosperous authors I've met since my return to England have been very much like him.
That's an idea. That's a new idea. I believe I ought to have made Johnny an author. You see, I've never said so before, for fear of hurting his feelings, because, after all, the lad can't help it. But I've never thought Johnny worth a tuppence as a man of business.
You think you've always kept that to yourself, do you, Governor? I know your opinion of me as well as you know it yourself. It takes one man of business to appreciate another, and you aren't, and you never have been a real man of business. I know where Tarleton's would have been 3 or 4 times if it hadn't been for me.
Well, who denies it? You're quite right, my boy. I don't mind confessing to you all that the circumstances that condemned me to keep a shop are the biggest tragedy in modern life. I ought to have been an author. I'm essentially a man of ideas. When I was a young man, I would sometimes pray that I might fail, so that I should be justified in giving up business and doing something first class. Lord Summerhays, I ask you to excuse me for a few moments. There are times when a man needs to meditate in solitude on his destiny. A chord is touched, and he sees the drama of his life as a spectator sees a play. Laugh if you feel inclined. No man sees the comic side of it more than I. In the theatre of life, everyone may be amused except the actor.
I suppose it's a wise partiality, Lord Summerhays, but I do think John was really great. I'm sure he was meant to be a king. My father looked down on John because he was a rate collector and John kept a shop. It hurt his pride to have borrow money so often from John. He used to console himself by saying, after all, he's only a linen draper. But at last, one day he said to me, John is a king.
How much did he borrow on that occasion?
Bentley!
Oh, don't scold the child. He'd have to say something like that. It was to be his last word on earth. Johnny, when your father comes back, ask him where to put that new Turkish bath. Turkish baths are his latest. Bentley, do go play tennis with Johnny. You must take exercise.
Do my boy to take him out and make him skip about.
I promised you 2 inches more around my chest this summer. I tried exercises with an India rubber expander, but I wasn't strong enough. Instead of my expanding it, it's crumpled me out. Come along, Johnny.
Do you know it, good young chap?
At last.
At last! Oh, if I might only have a holiday and a sign up for the dumb! Oof! Oh, I envy the animals. They can't talk. It never stops. Talk, 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 talk. That's my life. All the day I listen to Mama talking. At dinner I listen to Papa talking. And when Papa stops for breath, I listen to Johnny talking.
You make me feel very guilty. I talk too, I'm afraid.
Oh, I don't mind that. Because your talk is a novelty. But it must have been dreadful for your daughters.
I suppose so.
If parents would only realize how they bore their children. 3 or 4 times in the last half hour, I've been on the point of screaming.
Were we very dull?
Not at all. You were very clever. That's what's so hard to bear because it makes it so difficult to avoid listening. You see, I'm young, and I do so want something to happen. My mother tells me that when I'm her age, I should only be too glad that nothing's happened. But I'm not her age, so what good is that to me? Well, there's my father, and the
silence.
No, it wouldn't. If you all sat in silence as if you were waiting on something to happen, then there would be hope even if nothing did happen. But this eternal cackle about things in general is only fit for old people. I suppose it means something to them. They've had their fling. All I listen for is a sign of an ending in something. But just when it seems to be coming to a point, Johnny or Papa just starts another hair and it all begins over again. And I realize that it's never going to stop and it's never going to lead anywhere. And that's when I want to scream. I wonder how you can stand it.
Well, I'm old and garrulous myself, you see. Besides, I'm not down here of my own free will exactly. I came because you ordered me to come.
Well, didn't you want to come?
I didn't stop to think whether I wanted or not. When I read your letter, I knew I had to come.
Why?
Oh, come, Miss Tarleton, really, you asked me to come down here and speak to you, but you said if I didn't, you'd have no one to talk about me to except for Bentley. And that was a threat of blackmail, was it not?
Well, I wanted you to come.
Despite my age and my unfortunate talkativeness.
I like talking to you. I can let myself go with you. I can say things to you I can't say to other people.
I wonder why.
Well, you are the only really clever, high-class, grown-up, experienced man I know who has given himself away to me by making an utter fool of himself with me. You can't wrap yourself up in your toga after that. You can't give yourself airs with me.
You mean you can tell Bentley about me if I do?
Even if there wasn't any Bentley. Even if you didn't care, and I really don't see why you should care so much. Still, we could never be on conventional terms with one another again. Besides, I've got a feeling for you. Almost a ghastly sort of love for you.
Don't. Please don't.
Oh, it's nothing at all flattering. And nothing, of course, wrong, as I suppose you'd call it.
Please believe that I know that. When men of my
Oh,
age...
do talk about yourself when you mean yourself, and not about men of your age.
I'll put it as bluntly as I can. When, as you say, I made an utter fool of myself, believe me, I made a poetic fool of myself. You told me that you didn't want to be an old man's nurse. You didn't want to have undersized children like Bentley. And serve me right. I don't reproach you for it. I was an old fool.
I don't blame you for falling in love with me. I shall be grateful to you all my life for it, because, well, that was the first time that anything really interesting ever happened to me.
You mean nothing of that sort? That no man had
Oh,
ever...
not. That's part of the routine life around here, the very dullest part of it. The young man who comes to courting is as familiar an incident in my life as coffee for breakfast. With you it was different. I should as soon have expected the North Pole to fall in love with me as you. You know, I'm only a linen draper's daughter when all's said. I was afraid of you. You, a great man, a lord, and older than my father. Whew. And then what a situation it was. Just think of it. I was engaged to your son and you knew nothing about it.
Stop it! Can no woman understand a man's delicacy?
So he brought you down here and then you proposed.
Don't profane what you don't understand.
Oh, but at last something happening at last with a vengeance. Oh, it was splendid. It was my first peep behind the scenes. If I'd been 16, I would have fallen in love with you. Even as it is, I feel quite differently toward you from what I do toward other old men. So you may kiss my hand if it would be any fun for you.
No! How dare you! How callous youth is, how coarse, how cynical! Do try to learn, glorious young beast as you are, that age is squeamish, sentimental, fastidious. How ruthlessly cruel you can be!
Stop. It's only that you're tired of a great many things I've never tried. We get along very well, I think. No one else has ever called me a glorious young beast. I like that. Glorious young beast expresses exactly what I'd like to be.
Where on earth did you develop these morbid tastes? You seem to have been brought up in a normal, healthy, respectable middle-class family. Yet you go on like the most unwholesome product of the rankest bohemianism.
That's just it. I'm fed up.
Horrible expression. Don't.
Oh, I dare say it's vulgar, but there's no other word for it. I'm fed up with nice things, with respectability, with propriety. When a woman has nothing to do, money and respectability mean that nothing is ever allowed to happen to her. I don't want to be good. I don't want to be bad. I just don't want to be bothered about good or bad. I want to be an active verb.
An active verb? Oh, I see. An active verb signifies to be, to do, or to suffer.
Just so, how clever of you. I want to be, I want to do,
started a rabbit and put it clean out of my head. Besides, why should I give way to morbid introspection? It's a sign of madness. Read Lombroso. Well, Summerhays, has my little girl been entertaining you?
Oh, yes. She is a wonderful entertainer.
Yes, I think my idea of bringing up a young girl has been rather a success. Don't listen to this, Patsy. It might make you conceited. She's never been treated like a child. I always said the same thing to her mother. Let her do what she likes. Let her read what she likes. Let her go where she likes. Eh, Patsy?
Oh yes, if there'd only been anything for me to do, any place for me to go, anything I wanted to read.
There, you see. She's not satisfied. Restless. Wants things to happen. Wants adventures to drop out of the
If
sky.
you're going to talk about me and my education, I'm off.
Well, off with you. She's active like me. She actually wanted me to put her into the shop.
Well, they tell me that the girls there have adventures sometimes.
She had me there. When she doesn't know it, poor innocent little lamb. Public scandal exaggerates enormously, of course, but moralize as you will, Summerhays. Superabundant vitality is a physical fact that can't be talked away. Difficult question, this of bringing up children. Between ourselves, it has beaten me. I never was so surprised in all my life as when I came to know Johnny as a man of business and found out what he was really like.
Bentley is the only one who was my son in any serious sense, and he was completely spoiled.
The fact is, dear Summerhays, once childhood is over, once the little animal has got past the stage at which it acquires what you might call a sense of decency, it's all up with the relation between parent and child. You can't get over the fearful shyness of it.
Shyness?
Yes, shyness. Read Dickens.
Dickens? Of all authors, Charles Dickens, are you serious?
I don't mean his books. I mean his letters to his family. Read any man's letters to his children. They're not human. They're not a word about himself or themselves. They're about hotels, about scenery, about weather, getting wet and losing the train and what he saw on the road and all that. Not a word about himself. They're forced, shy, duty letters, all fit to be published. That says everything. I tell you, there's a wall 10 feet thick and 10 miles high between parent and child. I know what I'm talking about. Believe me, Summerhays, the relationship between young and old should be an innocent relation. It should be something they could talk about. Well, the relation between parent and child may be an affectionate relation. It may be a useful relation. It may even be a necessary relation. But it can never be an innocent relation. You die rather than allude to it. Depend on it. In 1,000 years, it would be considered bad form to know who your father and mother are. Embarrassing. Better hand Bentley over to me. I can look him in the face and talk to him as man to man. You can have Johnny.
Papa! No, it's Summerhays! Come up as fast as you can! Quick, quick!
Hello, Governor, come out of the aeroplane, look!
An aeroplane? Did he say an aeroplane?
Oh, take care of the chimney!
Hello, where the devil are you coming?
They cleared, well steered!
I guess, but they're coming slam into the green.
Out of the glass!
He'll save it! Oh no, no!
Are you sure you're all right? Sure you won't have some brandy just to take off the shock?
No, thank you, quite right. Not scratched. I assure you I'm all right.
What luck! And what a smash! You are a lucky chap, I can tell you.
I'm really very sorry. I'm afraid I've knocked your penny into your cocked hat. You don't mind, do you?
Not a bit. Come in and have some tea. Stay to dinner. Stay over the weekend. All my life I wanted to fly.
You're really more than kind.
Why, it's Joey Percival!
Hello, Ben, that's you.
What, the man of three fathers?
Oh, has Ben been talking about me?
Consider yourself as one of the family, if you'll do me the honor. And your friend, too. Where's your friend?
By the way, before he comes in, let me explain. I don't know him.
Eh?
Haven't even looked at him. I'm trying to break a club record with a passenger. He just jumped in. Well, I've been too busy handling the aeroplane to even look at him. Haven't said a word to him, and I can't answer him socially. But he's an ideal passenger for a flyer. He saved me from a smash.
I saw it. It was extraordinary. When you were thrown out, he held onto the top bar with one hand, and as you came flying past him, headed straight for the glass, he caught you and turned you into the flower bed, and then lighted beside you like a bird.
How he kept his head, I can't imagine. Frankly, I do.
Just discussing your prowess, my dear sir. Magnificent. You'll stay to dinner. You'll stay over the week. The chickabiddy will be delighted.
Won't you take off your goggles and have some tea?
Do have a watch. Johnny, take the young gentleman up to your room. I'll look after Mr. Percival.
Amazing!
I assure you, afraid the faintest notion shouldn't have left you to shift for yourself in that selfish way.
The lady seems to have shifted for both very effectually, sir.
Saved my life. I admit that most gratefully.
Forgive me, madam, for having offered you the civilities appropriate to the opposite sex. And yet, why opposite? We're all humans, males and females of the same species. When the dress is the same, the distinction vanishes. I am proud to receive in my home a lady of evident refinement and distinction. Allow me to introduce myself. Tarleton, John Tarleton. Yes, it's Tarleton's underwear. My wife, Mrs. Tarleton, you'll excuse me for having what I have taken to be a confidence between man and man, alluded to as the chickabiddy. My son, Lord Summerhays, a man you know wherever the British flag waves. His son, Bentley, engaged to my daughter, Hypatia, who has always wanted some adventure to drop out of the sky and is now, I hope, satisfied at last. Mr. Joseph Percival, the promising young son of 3 highly intellectual fathers.
Bentley's friend?
May I now ask to be allowed the pleasure of knowing your name?
My name is Lina Szczepanowska.
I beg your pardon.
Szczepanowska.
Thank you.
Would you mind saying it again?
Say fish.
Fish.
Say church.
Church.
Say fish church.
That's not good.
Say fish church.
Church.
Again.
No, but... Fish church.
Now say Szczepanowska.
Szczepanowska.
Pleasure.
Lovely, my dear. Szczepanowska. Not an English name, is it?
Polish. I'm a Pole.
Ah, interesting nation. Very lucky people to get the government of their country taken off their hands. Nothing left to do but cultivate themselves. Same as we took Gibraltar off the hands of the Spaniards. Saves the Spanish taxpayer. Jolly good thing for us if the Germans took Portsmouth. Sit down, won't you?
Have some tea now, won't you?
I never drank tea.
Bad thing to aeroplane on, I should imagine. Too jumpy. Been up much?
Not in an aeroplane. I parachuted, but that was child's play.
But aren't you very foolish to run such a dreadful race?
You can't live without running risks.
What a thing to say. Didn't you know you might have been killed?
That's why I went up.
Of course. Can't you understand the fascination of the thing? The novelty, the daring, the sense of something happening.
Oh no. It's too tame a business for that. I went up for family reasons.
What? Family reasons?
I hope it wasn't to spite your mother.
Or your husband.
I'm not married. And why should I want to spite my mother?
That was very clever of you, Mr. Percival.
What?
To find out.
I'm in a difficulty. I can't understand a lady going up in an aeroplane for family reasons. It's rude to be curious and ask questions, but then it's inhuman to be indifferent as though you didn't care.
I'll tell you with pleasure. For the last 150 years, not a single day has passed without some member of my family risking his life or her life. It is a point of honor with us to keep up that tradition. Usually, several of us do it, but it happens that just at this moment, it is being kept up by one of my brothers only. Early this morning, I received a telegram from him to say that there had been a fire, and he could do nothing for the rest of the week. Fortunately, I had an invitation from the Aerial League to see this gentleman try to break the passenger record. I appealed to the president of the league to let me save the honor of my family. He arranged it for me.
I must be dreaming. This is stark raving nonsense.
You are quite awake, sir.
We can't all be dreaming the same thing, Governor.
Of course not, you duck, but I'm dreaming you as well as the lady.
Don't be silly, John. The lady is only joking, I'm sure. I suppose your luggage is on the aeroplane.
Luggage is out of the question. And if I stay for dinner, I'm afraid I won't be able to change unless you lend me some clothes.
Do you mean neither of you?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, well, never mind. Hypatia will lend the lady a gown.
Thank you. I'm quite comfortable as I am. I'm not accustomed to gowns that hamper me and make me feel ridiculous. So, if you do not mind, I shall not change.
Well, I'm beginning to think I'm doing a bit of dreaming myself.
Oh, it's all right, Mother. Johnny, you look after
trouble, Chickabiddy. I'll tackle them.
Indeed, you'll do nothing of the kind. You'll stay here quietly with Lord Summerhays. You'll invite them all to dinner. Come, Bunny.
Singularly beautiful woman, Summerhays. What do you make of her? She must be a princess. What's this family of warriors and statesmen that risk their lives every day?
They are evidently not warriors and statesmen. They wouldn't do that.
Well, then who the devil are they?
I think I know. The last time I saw that woman, she done something I should not have thought possible.
What was that?
She walked backwards along a top wire without a balancing pole and turned a somersault in the middle. I remember that her name was Lina and that the other name was foreign, though I don't recollect it. This church.
Szczepanowska, you couldn't have forgotten a name like that if you'd heard it.
I didn't hear it, I only read it in a program. It's clear she's an acrobat. It explains how she saved Mr. Percival, and it also accounts for her family pride.
An acrobat, eh? Good, good, good. Summerhays, that brings her within reach. That's better than a princess. I steeled this evergreen heart of mine when I thought she was a princess. Now I shall let it be touched. She is accessible. Good.
I hope you're not serious. You have a family. You have a position. You're not in your first youth.
No matter. There's magic in the night when the heart is young. My heart is young. Besides, I'm a married man, not a widower like you. A married man can do whatever he likes if his wife don't mind. A widower can't be too careful. Not that I've had you think me a bad man or an unprincipled husband. I'm not. But I've a superabundance of vitality. Read Pete's diet.
The woman is your guest, Tarleton.
Well, is she? A woman I bring into my home is my guest. A woman you bring into my home is my guest. But a woman who drops bang down out of the sky in my greenhouse and smashes every blessed pane of glass in it must take her chance.
You'll remember that my name cannot be associated with any scandal. You'll be careful, won't you?
Oh, Lord, yes, yes. Yes, I'm only joking, of course.
Well, I never. John, I don't think that young woman's right in her head. Do you know what she's just asked for?
Champagne?
No. She wants a Bible and 6 oranges.
What?
A Bible and 6 oranges.
I can understand the oranges. She's doing an orange cure of some sort, but what on earth would she want the Bible for?
I'm sure I can't imagine. She can't be right in her head.
Perhaps she wants to read it.
But why would she? On a weekday, at all events. What would you advise me to do, Lord Summerhays?
Well, is there a Bible in the house?
Stacks of them. There's the Family Bible, and the Doré Bible, and the Parallel Revised Version Bible, and the Duff's Press Bible, and Johnny's Bible, and Bobby's Bible, and Patsy's Bible, and the Chickabiddy's Bible, and my Bible, and I dare say the servants could raise a few more between them. Let them have the lot.
Don't talk like that before Lord Summerhays, John.
It's all right, Mrs. Tarleton. In Jagers Khan, it was a punishable offense to expose a Bible for sale. The Empire has no religion.
Oh, Mrs. Tarleton, shall I be making myself very troublesome if I ask for a music stand in my room as well?
Not at all. You can have the piano if you like, or the gramophone. Have the gramophone.
No, thank you. No music.
Do you think it's good for you to eat so many oranges? Aren't you afraid of getting jaundice?
Not in the least. But billiard balls will do quite as well.
But you can't eat billiard balls, child.
Get 'em, Chickabiddy, I understand. Eh?
Just so.
Billiard balls and cues, plates, knives and forks, 2 paraffin lamps and a hat stand.
No! That is popular low-class business. In our family, we touch nothing but classical work. Anyone can do lamps or headstands. I can do silver bullets. It is really hard.
Well, I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about, and I only hope you know yourselves. However, you shall have what you want, of course.
You'll forgive my curiosity. What's the Bible for?
To quiet my soul.
Ah, yes. It no longer quiets mine, I'm afraid.
That is because you do not know how to read it. Put it up before you understand, and open it up with the Psalms. When you can read them and understand them quite quietly and happily, and keep 6 balls in the air all the time, you are in perfect condition, and you'll never make a mistake that evening. If you find you cannot do that, then go and pray until you can, and be very careful that evening.
Is that the usual form of test in your profession?
Nothing we Szczepanowskis do as usual, my lord.
Are you all so wonderful?
It is our profession to be wonderful.
Do you never condescend to do as common people do? For instance, do you not pray as common people pray?
Common people do not pray, my lord. They only beg.
You never ask for anything?
No.
Then why do you pray?
To remind myself that I have a soul.
Good, fine, good, beautiful. All this damned materialism, what good is it to anybody? I've got a soul, don't tell me I haven't. Cut me up and you can't find it. Cut up a steam engine and you can't find the steam, but by George, it makes the engine go. Say what you will, Summerhays, the divine spark is a fact.
Have I denied it?
Our whole civilization is a denial of it. Read Walt Whitman.
I shall go to the billiard room and get the balls for you.
Thank you.
Listen to me. What you said just now was beautiful. You touch chords. You appeal to the poetry of a man. You inspire him. Come, you're a woman of the world. You're independent. You must have driven lots of men crazy. You know just the sort of man I am, don't you? See through me at a glance, eh?
Yes.
Good. Well, do you like me? Don't misunderstand me. I know you're not going to fall in love at first sight with the ridiculous old shopkeeper. I can't help that ridiculous old shopkeeper. I have to carry him about with me whether I like it or not. I have to pay for his clothes, though I hate the cut of them, especially the waistcoat. I have to look at him in the glass when I shave. I loathe him because he's living a lie. My soul's not like that. It's like yours. I want to make a fool of myself about you. Will you let me?
How much will you pay?
Nothing. But I'll throw as many sovereigns as you like into the sea to show you that I'm earnest.
Are those your usual terms?
No. I've never made that bid before.
What did you say your name was?
John Tarleton. The great John Tarleton of Tarleton's Underwear.
Tarleton. I keep a list of all my offers. I like to know what I'm considered worth.
Let me look.
It's in Polish.
Oh, that's no good. Is mine the lowest offer?
No, the highest.
What do most of them come to? Diamonds, motor cars, furs, Vieira at Monte Carlo?
Oh, yes. All that. And sometimes the devotion of a lifetime.
Fancy that. A young man offering a woman his old age as a temptation.
Why to beg? You did not say how long.
Until you get tired of me.
Or until you get tired of me.
I never get tired. I never go on long enough for that. But when it becomes so grand, so inspiring, that I feel that everything must be an anticlimax after that, then I run away.
Does she let you go without a struggle?
Yes, glad to be rid of me. When love takes a man, as it takes me, when it makes him great, it frightens a woman.
The lady here is your wife, isn't she? Don't you care for her?
Yes, and mine, she comes first, always. I reserve her dignity, even when I sacrifice my own. You'll respect that point of honor, won't you?
Only a point of honor.
No, by God, a point of affection as well.
Shake hands, old pal.
Thanks. That means no, doesn't it?
It means something that will last longer than yes. I like you. I admit you to my friendship. But I pity you were not trained when you were young. You'd be young still.
I suppose to an athlete like you, I'm pretty awful, eh?
Shocking.
Too much crumb. Yellow patches won't come off. Short wind, I know. I'm ashamed of myself. I can do nothing on the high road.
Oh, yes. I could put you in a wheelbarrow and roll you along, 200 feet up.
Ah. Well, I'd do even that for you. Read the Master Builder.
Have you learned everything from books?
Well, have you learnt everything from the flying trapeze?
On the flying trapeze, there is often another woman. Her life is in your hands every night, and your life in hers.
Lina, I'm going to make a fool of myself. I'm going to cry.
Cry instead. Don't cry. Why should you cry? You're not the first I said no to.
If you had said yes, should I have been the first then?
What right have you to ask? Have I asked him I the first?
All right. A vulgar question. To a man like me, everybody is the first. Life renews itself.
The youngest child is the sweetest.
Don't probe too deeply, that hurts.
You must get out of the habit of thinking that these things matter so much. It's linen draperish.
All right. I've always said so. All the same, it does matter, for I want to cry.
Oh, la. Courage, old pal, courage. Have you a gymnasium here?
There's a trapeze and bars and things in the billiard room.
Come, you'll need a few exercises. I'll teach you how to stop crying.
intention of being offensive. Surely there's nothing that can wound a lady in. At least, I really didn't mean to be disagreeable.
Liar.
Well, of course, if you're going to insult me, I'm quite helpless. You're a woman and you could say what you like.
And you can only say what you dare. Poor wretch, it isn't much. Really, Mr. Percival, you sit down in the presence of a lady and leave her standing. Really, Mr. Percival. Really, Mr. Percival. How do you like it? Wouldn't you rather I downed you?
Miss Tarleton.
Hypatia, Joey. Patsy, if you like.
Look here, this is no good. You want to say what you like?
Don't you?
Of course not. I've been too well brought up. I've argued all through this thing, and I'm not ready to cast off this social form. It's a support to a figure, even if it does squeeze in the form a bit. I want to be free.
Well, I'm tempting you to be free.
Not at all. Freedom, my good girl, means being able to count on how other people will behave. If every man who disliked me were to throw a handful of mud in my face, and every woman who likes me were to behave like Potiphar's wife, then I shall be a slave. Slave of uncertainty, a slave of fear, the worst of all slaveries. How would you like it if every laborer you met on the road were to make love to you? Now, give me the blessed protection of a good stiff conventionality among these thoroughly well brought up ladies and gentlemen.
Another talker. Men like conventions because men made them. I didn't make them. I don't like them. I won't keep them. Now what will you do?
Bolt.
I'll catch you!
Hello, Patsy, what's up? Another aeroplane?
Another sound and you're a dead man! Another sound and you're a dead man!
Am I? Well, you're alive one, that's one comfort. I thought you were a ghost. Who are you and what the devil were you doing at my new Turkish bar?
I'm the son of Lucinda Ditmas!
Indeed. And how is she? Quite well, I hope, eh?
She's dead! Dead, my God, and you're alive!
Oh, lost your mother. That's sad. I'm sorry, but we can't all have the luck to survive our mothers and be nursed out of this world by the hands that nursed us into it.
Much you care, damn you!
Oh, don't cut up, Ruff. Face it, like a man. You see, I didn't know your mother, but I'm sure she was an excellent woman.
Not know her? Do you dare stand there by her open grave and deny that you knew her?
What did you say her name was again?
I'm the son of Lucinda Ditmas!
Well, to remember a name like that if I heard it. But I don't. Have you a photograph?
Forgotten even the name of your victim!
Oh, she was my victim, was she?
She was. And you should see her face again before you died. There she is! I have a photograph.
Good.
I have two photographs.
Still better. Treasure the mother's pictures. Good boy.
One of them is you knew her. The other is she became when you flung her aside and she withered into an old woman.
She's done that anyhow. You're grown old by that. Look at me.
Stop Did you take me for a fool?
Well, you're a little upset, naturally. It does you credit. myself falling in love with her when I was your age. I wasn't a bad-looking fellow myself in those days. Curious, we could have both gone the same way.
You and she the same way, what do you mean?
I've got a bit stout, I mean.
Would you have had to deny yourself food?
No, it wouldn't have done any good. It's constitutional. No matter how little you eat, you put on weight if you're made that way.
Is that all the feeling arises in you decide to face you once knew so well?
Funny that I can't remember. Let this be a lesson to you, young man. I could go into court tomorrow and swear I never saw that woman before in my life if it wasn't for that brooch. Have you got that brooch, by the way? You seem to carry the whole family property in that pocket.
Here it is, to prove my bona fides.
I bought that brooch in Cheapside from a man with a yellow wig and a cast in his left eye. I haven't set eyes on him from that day to this, and yet I remember that man. But I don't remember your mother.
Monster! Without conscience, without even memory. You left her to a shame.
Come now, respect the romance of your mother's youth. Don't you start throwing stones at her. You see, I can't report her features at this exact moment, but I've no doubt that she was very kind to me and that we were happy together. If you've a word to say against her, take yourself out of my house and say it elsewhere.
What sort of joke are you? Are you trying to put me in the wrong? When you have to answer to me for a crime that will make every honest man spit at you as you pass in the street forward to make it known?
You read a great deal, don't you?
What if I do? What's that to do with your infamy, my mother's doom?
There, you see? Doom. That's not good sense, but it's literature. Now, it happens that I am a tremendous reader. Always was. When I was your age, I read books of that sort by the bushel. The doom sort, you know. Curious that we should be like one another in that respect. Can you account for it in any way?
No. What are you driving at?
Well, do you know who your father was?
I see what you mean now. You dare set him to be my father. Thank heaven I'm not dropping your vile blood in my veins.
Well, don't be civil. There's no pleasure in talking to you, is there? What do you want? Money?
How dare you insult me? This is the end. For you and me.
Come, man, talk business. What's wrong? Are you out of employment?
No. This is my Saturday afternoon. Don't flatter yourself that I'm a loafer or a criminal. I'm a cashier. And I defy you to say my cash has ever been a farthing wrong. I have a right to call you to account because my hands are clean.
Well, call away. What am I to account for? Had you a bad time with your mother? Why didn't she ask me for money?
She'd have died first. Besides, you wanted your money. You suppose we lived in the gutter? My father made his million as large a way as you, but he was better connected, and his shop was as respectable as yours.
Well, I suppose your mother brought him some revenue.
I don't know. What's that got to do with you?
Well, you say your mother and I knew each other and then parted. She must have had something off me then. One doesn't get out of these things for nothing, you know. Hang it, young man! You suppose I've no soul? Your mother had her too, and she found herself a husband with it, and she put him up in business with it, and she brought you up respectably, so what the devil have you to complain of?
Are women to be ruined with impunity?
I haven't ruined any woman that I'm aware of. I've been the making of you and your mother.
I'm a fool to listen to you and argue with you. Oh, I came here to kill you and then kill myself.
Begin with yourself, if you don't mind. I have a good deal of business to do still before I die. Haven't you?
No. That's just it. I've no business to do. Do you know what my life is? I spend my days from 9 to 6, 9 hours a day like fresh air in a stuffy little den, counting another man's money. I've had enough of being talked down to by hogs like you. Wearing my life out for a salary would keep you in cigars. Never believe that clerks and managers of one of us makes an example of one of you.
Despotism tempered by assassination, eh?
Yeah, that's what they do in Russia. When a business officer's Russia, it's by place, so then you take it so coolly. You don't think I'm gonna do it. But I am.
Come now, as man to man. It's not my fault that I'm richer than you are, and it's not your fault that you're poorer than me. And if you could undo all that passed between your mother and myself, you wouldn't undo it. But you're sick of your slavery, eh? You want to be the hero of romance and get into the papers. A son revenges his mother's shame, a villain weltering in his gore. Mother, look down from heaven and receive your unhappy son's last sigh.
Oh, right. Do you think I read novelettes? Do you suppose I believe in such superstitions as heaven? I go to church because the boss told me I'd get a sack if I did. Free England! Ha!
You're afraid of getting the sack, but you're not afraid to shoot yourself.
Damn you! You'll try to keep me talking until somebody comes!
Somebody hit
Stop! Stand off! I'll shoot you! You lay a hand on me, I will, by God!
You can't cover me with that pistol. Try.
Oh!
Please stop. I can't wait to twist anyone's wrist, but I must if you don't let the pistol go.
All right! Oh. Couldn't even do that job decently. That's a clerk on over. Very well. Send for your damn police and make an end of it. I'm accustomed to prison from 96. I dare say I can stand it from 69 as well.
Don't swear, that's a lady.
Beaten by a female? It needed only days.
Old pal, don't call the police. Lend him a bicycle and let him get away.
I can't even ride a bicycle. I never could afford one. Not even that much you could.
Come to the gymnasium. I'll teach you how to make a man out of yourself.
Young man, don't. You tried to shoot me, but I'm not vindictive. I draw the line at putting a man on the rack. If you want every joint in your body stretched until it's an agony to live, until all of your muscles are singing and laughing with pain, you go to the gymnasium with that lady. But you'll be more comfortable in jail.
Was that why you went away, old pal? Was that the telegram you said you had forgotten to send?
Is anything the matter, John? Nurse said she heard you calling me a quarter of an hour ago, and your voice sounded as if you were ill. Is anything the matter?
This is the son of a very old friend of mine, Mr. Gunner.
Good evening to you.
I say, has anyone seen Hypatia? She promised to come after me and I can't find her anywhere. And where's Joey?
I can tell you where Hypatia is. I can tell you where Joey is. When I say it's a scandal and an infamy, people only knew what goes on in this so-called respectable house, it would be put a stop to. These are all morals of our pious capitalist class. This is your rotten bourgeoisie, yes!
Don't you dare use such language in company. I won't allow it.
All right, Shideler, it's not bad language, it's only socialism.
Well, I won't have any socialism in my house.
You hear what Mrs. Tarleton says? Well, in this house, everyone does as she says, or out they go.
Do you suppose I want to stay? Do you think I'll breathe this polluted atmosphere a moment longer than I could help?
But what did you mean by what you said about Miss Tarleton and Mr. Percival, you beastly rotter?
Oh, is Hypatia your daughter? And Joey's Mr. Percival, is he? One of your set, I suppose. One of the smart set. One of the bridge playing 80 horsepower weekender sets. One of the Johnnies I slave for. And Joey's more decency than your daughter, anyhow. The women are the worst. I never believed it till I saw it with my own eyes. Well, it won't last forever. The writing's on the wall. Rome fell, Babylon fell, Tarleton's done will come.
Whatever are you talking about, young man?
I know what I'm talking about. I went into that Turkish backer boy. I came out a man.
Good gracious, he's mad. Did John make him take a Turkish bath?
No, he doesn't need Turkish bath. He needs to put on a little flesh. Aren't don't know what it's all about. I found him trying to shoot Mr. Tarleton.
And John encouraging him, I'll be bound. Bunny, go for the police. I'll teach you to come into my house and shoot my husband.
Teach away. I never asked to be let off. I'm ashamed to be free and staking my part with the rest. Women. Beautiful women of noble birth. Going to prison for their opinions. Girl students in Russia go to the gallows, let themselves be cut up in pieces and then out. Driven through the frozen snows of Siberia. Sooner than stand looking on tamely the world being made a hell for their toiling millions. You and all skunks and cowards, you'd be suffering with them instead of battening in on the blood of the poor.
Did you ever hear such silly nonsense? Bunny, go and tell the gardener to send over one of his men to Greyshot for the police.
I'll go with him. I intend to give myself up. I'm going to dispose of what I've seen here, no matter what the consequences of my miserable self.
Stop! Stay where you are, Ben. Chickabiddy, you've never had the police in. If you had, you'd not be in a hurry to have them in again. Now, young man, cut the cackle and tell as short as you can. What did you see?
I can't tell you in the presence of ladies.
You are tiresome, as if it mattered to anyone what you saw. Me, a married woman that might be your mother. Well, I'm sure you're not particular, Miss Szczepanowska, if you'll excuse me saying so.
Out with it. What did you see?
I saw your daughter with my own eyes. Oh, well, never mind what I saw.
Oh, you beastly rival! I'll give Julius to give you such a hiding.
You can't leave it at that, you know. What did you see my daughter doing?
After all, why shouldn't she do it? The Russian students do it. Women should be as free as men. I'm a fool. I'm so full of your bourgeoisie morality that I let myself be shocked by the application of my own revolutionary principles. If she likes the man, why shouldn't she tell him so?
I do wonder at you, John, letting him talk like this before everybody. Would you mind going away to the drawing room for just a few minutes, Miss Szczepanowska? This is a private family matter, if you don't mind.
I should have gone before, Mrs. Tarleton, if there had been anyone to protect Mr. Tarleton and the young gentleman.
It's all of a piece here. The men are feminine, the women unsexed.
Oh, don't begin again, old chap. Keep it for Trafalgar Square.
Come back here, you cheeky monkey.
Excuse me for rushing in like this. Mr. Percival was chasing me down the hill.
Who chased him up it? Don't be ashamed. Be fearless. Be truthful.
Gunner, will you go to Paris for a fortnight? I'll pay your expenses.
What do you mean?
There was a silent witness in the Taker's bath.
I found him hiding there. Whatever was on here, he saw and heard. That's what he means.
Am I to understand you as daring as to put forth the monstrous and blackguardly lie that this lady behaved improperly in my presence?
You knew what I saw and heard.
I hope it is not necessary for me to assure you all that there is not one word of truth, not one grain of substance in this rascally comedy which no man with a spark of decent feelings would have uttered, even if he were ignorant enough to believe it. Miss Tarleton's conduct, as I've had the honour of knowing her, has been, I need hardly say, in all respects beyond reproach. And as for you, sir, you will have the goodness to come with me immediately. I have some business which cannot be settled in Mrs. Tarleton's presence or in our house.
Why should I come with you?
Because I intend that you shall.
I won't be bullied by you. Please! Oh! Leave me go, will you? Or ride you lay hands on me!
Let him run for it, Mr. Percival. He's very poor company. We shall be well rid of him. Let him go.
Not until he has taken back and made the fullest apology for the abominable lie he has told. He shall do this, or he shall defend himself the best he can against the most thorough thrashing I'm capable of giving him. Take your choice. Which is it to be?
Give me a fair chance. Go and stick in a desk from 96 for a month. Let me have your brother, your sport, and your lesson in boxing. I'll fight you fast enough. You know I'm no good. Are you damn bullying me like this?
Well, you should have thought of that before you attacked a lady with a dastardly slander. No, I'm waiting for your decision, and I'm rather in a hurry, please.
I never said anything against the lady.
What a liar!
We shall have them in writing if you all like. Sit down and take that pen in your hand. Now write I, whatever your name is.
Oh, I can't. My head's shaking too much. I'm doing my best. It's no use. I can't.
Mr. Summerhays will write it. You can sign it.
Get up.
What is your name?
John Brown.
Oh, God. Couldn't you have made it Horace Smith or Algernon Robinson?
But my name is John Brown. There really are John Browns, you know. How can I help if my name's a common one?
Show us a letter addressed to you.
How can I? I'm a clerk. I never get any letters. Oh, I can show you the JB on my handkerchief.
Ooh, put it up again. Let it go with John Brown.
Where do you live?
4 Chesterfield Parade, Kentish Town, Northwest.
I, John Brown, of 4 Chesterfield Parade, Kentish Town, do hereby voluntarily confess on the 31st May 1909, What did he do exactly?
I trespassed on the land of John Tarleton at Hindhead and effected an unlawful entry into his house when I secreted myself in a portable Turkish bath.
Go slow, old man. Just a moment. Turkish bath. Yes?
With a pistol with which I threatened to take the life of the said John Tarleton,
John, you might have been killed.
and was prevented from doing so only by the timely arrival of the celebrated Miss Lina Szczepanowska.
Is she celebrated? I never dreamt.
Look here. I'm awfully sorry, but I can't spell Szczepanowska.
Oh, I think it's S-Z.
S-Z-C-Z-C-P?
Just say Polish lady.
Now it's your turn.
I further confess in uttering the most abominable calumny concerning Miss Hypatia Tarleton, for which there was not a shred of foundation.
Foundation?
And I apologize most humbly to the lady and her family for my conduct.
Conduct?
And I apologize to Mr. Tarleton and promise him not to repeat it and to amend my life.
Amend my life.
And to do what in me to prove worthy of his kindness in giving me another chance.
Another chance.
And refraining from delivering me up from the punishment I so richly deserve. Does this satisfy you, Miss Tarleton?
Yes, that will teach him to tell lies next time.
You mean you can teach him to tell the truth next time?
Do you, Patsy?
You're good enough to sign. I hope that what you're signing is no mere form of words, and you not only say you're sorry, but that you are sorry.
Stop, Mr. Percival. I think on Hypatia's account, Lord Summerhays ought to be told about this.
Certainly.
Take my advice and cut it short. Let him go.
Hypatia ought to have her character clear.
You let well alone, Chickpity. Most of our characters will bear some careful dusting, but they won't bear scouring. Patsy's jolly well out of it. What does it matter anyhow?
Mr. Mr. Tarleton, we either said too much or not enough. Lord Summerhays, you'll be kind enough to witness the declaration this man has just signed.
Do I have it yet? Am I signed now?
Of course. Come forward and read the declaration to this gentleman. Now, please.
Field Parade, Kentish Town, do hereby voluntarily confess that on the 31st of May, 1909, I trespassed on the land of John Tarleton at Hennet and effected an unlawful entry into his house, where I secreted myself in a portable Turkish bath with a pistol, with which I threatened to take the life of said John Tarleton, and was prevented from doing so only by the timely arrival of the celebrated Just Say Polish lady. I further confess that I was guilty of uttering an abominable calumny concerning Miss Hypatia Tarleton, and I apologise most humbly to the lady and her family for my conduct, and I apologise, Mr. Tarleton, and promise not to repeat it, and to amend my life, and do what in me lies to prove worthy of his kindness, in giving me another chance, and refraining from delivering me up to the punishment I so richly deserve.
Do you consider that sufficient, Lord Summerhays?
Oh, quite. Quite.
Lord Summerhays would probably like to hear you say that you are satisfied, Miss Tarleton.
I must say, Mr. Percival, that you behave like a perfect gentleman.
We need not trouble you any further.
This is your way. The gardener will show you the shortest way onto the road. Go the shortest way.
Yes, sir. Oh, mayn't I have my mother's photographs back again?
Yeah, what? Oh! The photographs! Yes. Take them.
What's that, John? And what were you doing with his mother's photographs?
Nothing. Never mind, everybody. It's all right.
Lucy Titmus. John!
Young man, you're a fool. But you've just put a lid on this job in a masterly manner. I knew you would. I told you all to let well alone. You wouldn't. And now you must face the consequences. Or rather, I must face them.
Are you Lucy's son?
Yes.
Why didn't you come to me? I didn't turn my back on your mother when she came to me in her trouble. Didn't you know that?
No. She never talked to me about anything.
How could she talk to her own son? Shy, Summerhays, shy. Parent and child. Shy.
Then how did you find out?
From the papers after she died.
Is Lucy dead? And I never knew. And you here being treated like that? Poor orphan with nobody to take your part. Tear up that foolish paper, child. Come here and make friends with me.
What do you mean?
This is what he said. Will you please speak one at a time?
Will you allow me to remind you, Mr. Tarleton, that this man uttered the most serious and disgraceful falsehood concerning Miss Tarleton and myself.
I don't believe a word of it. If the poor lad was there in the Turkish bath, who has better right to say that what was going on than he has? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Patsy, and so ought you, Mr. Percival, for encouraging her.
Miss Tarleton, I give you my word of honor.
Come along with you with your word of honor. Do you think I'm a fool? I do wonder you could stand there and look this lad in the face after bullying him and making him sign those wicked lies all the time. You carrying on with my daughter before you'd been not half an hour in my house. Fie for shame.
Lord Summerhays, I appeal to you. Have I done the correct thing or not?
You've done your best, Mr. Percival. But the correct thing depends on Ford's success. Everyone playing the game very strictly. As a single-handed game, it's impossible.
Joey! Have you taken that piece away from me?
Bentley, you must control yourself, sir.
Mr. Percival, the shutters are up on this gentlemanly business. Try the truth.
I am in a wretched position. If I tell the truth, no one will believe me.
Yes, they will. The truth makes everyone believe it.
It also makes everyone pretend not to believe it. Mrs. Tarleton, you are not playing the game.
I don't think you've behaved at all nicely, Mr. Percival.
I wouldn't have played you such a dirty trick, Joey. You beast!
Bentley, you must control yourself, sir. Let me say at the same time, Mr. Percival, that my son was mistaken in regarding you either as a friend or as a gentleman.
Miss Tarleton, I am suffering for your sake. I just just ask that you say that I'm not to blame. Just that and nothing more.
You chasing me through the heather and kissed me. You shouldn't have done that if you were not in earnest.
This is really the limit. Sir, I appeal to you. As a gentleman, as a man of honor, as a man bound to stand by another man. You were in that Turkish bath yourself began. Could any man have behaved more correctly than I did? Is there a shadow of foundation in these accusations brought against me?
What do you want me to say?
He has said what he had to say already, hasn't he? Read that paper.
When I tell the truth, you make me go back on it. And now you want me to go back on myself. What's a man to do?
Please, just try and clear your mind, Mr. Brown. I simply pointed out to you that you could not, as a gentleman, disparage this lady's character. You agree with me, I hope?
Yes, that sounds all right.
But you're also bound to tell the truth. Now you won't deny that.
Who's denying it? I say nothing against you.
Of course not. Now I ask that you tell the truth simply and unaffectedly. Did you witness any improper conduct on my part while you were in that bath?
No, sir.
Oh, what are you?
Stop!
Enough said. Leave it at that. You keep quiet, Johnny. Mr. Percival, you're whitewashed. So are you, Patsy. Honors are easy. Let's drop the subject. The next thing is to open a subscription to start this young man off in some far-off country where they're accustomed to being in a disturbed state.
Now stop joking the poor lad, John. I won't have it. He's been worried to death between you all. Have you had your tea?
Tea? No, it's too early.
Now come with tea, we'll pick you up.
Well, I'd rather not. I'm all right.
Here, try a mouthful of slow gin.
No thanks. I'm a teetotal. Can't touch alcohol in any form.
Nonsense. This isn't alcohol. Slow gin. Vegetarian, you know.
Was it a fruit beverage?
Of course it is. Fruit beverage. There you are.
Thanks. It's rather hot.
Do you good. Don't be afraid of it.
Sip it. Don't be in a hurry.
Well, now that the gentleman has been attended to, I should like to know where I am. Well, it may be a vulgar business habit, but I confess I like to know where I am.
I don't. Wherever you are, you're there anyhow. I tell you, we can leave it at that.
I want to know too. Hypatia is engaged to me.
Bentley, if you insult me again, if you say another word, I will leave this house and not enter it till you leave it.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, my boy. Oh, you pig! You brat!
Don't hurt his feelings, poor little lamb.
Bentley, you are not behaving well, sir. You had better leave us until you've recovered yourself.
Oh, child. Don't cry, Ducky. It's all right.
Stop that infernal noise, son, you hear? Stop it instantly!
That's the game he tried on me. There you are now, mother. Now, Patsy, you see for yourselves.
No, you didn't. Let's stop him, Mr. Percival. Kick him.
Steady on, easy on, easy.
Leave him to me, Mrs. Tarleton. Stand clear, please.
What are you doing? Oh, put me down. Please, put me down, Miss Szczepanowska. Please put me down.
Well, I wonder what she's going to do with him.
Spank him, I hope. Spank him hard.
I hope so. I hope so. Tarleton, I'm beyond measure humiliated and annoyed at my son's behavior in your house. You had better let me take him home.
Not at all. Now, Chickabiddy, as Miss Lina has taken away Ben, suppose you take away Mr. Brown for a while.
My name isn't Brown. It's Baker. Julius Baker. Mr. Baker. Fitty man Tarleton, I'm ready for him.
Shouldn't have given him that slow gin, John. It's gone to his head.
Don't you think it? Fruit beverages don't go to the head. And what man did they get? I say nothing to you, man. I regard you with respect and affection. You were very good to my mother.
My poor mother.
But I say my name's Baker, and I'm not to be treated as a child or made a slave of by any man. Baker's my name. You It's the only name that nobody gives as a false name, he said. Clever, eh? Oh, I should think so.
Come now, Julius.
Don't you be alarmed, man. I know what is due to you as a lady and to myself as a gentleman. I regard you with respect and affection. If you had been my mother, as you ought to have been, I would have had more of a chance. But you should have no cause to be ashamed of me. The strength of its shame is no greater than its weakest link. But the greatness of a poet is the greatness of his greatest moment. Shakespeare used to get drunk. Fredrick the Great ran away from a battle. But it was what they could rise to, not what they could sink to that made them great. They weren't good always, but they were good on that day. Well, on my day, mind you, I'm good for something too. I know I made a silly exhibition of myself here. I know I didn't rise to the occasion. I know that if you had been my mother, you would have been ashamed of me. I lost my presence of mind. I was a contemptible coward. But I'm not the man I was then. This is my day. I've seen the 10th possessor of a foolish face carried out, kicking and screaming by a woman. You crowed pretty big over me. You hypnotized me. But when you were put through the fire, you were found wanting. I tell you straight, I don't give a damn for you!
No, that's naughty. You shouldn't say that before me.
I will cut my tongue out. So I didn't say anything vulgar in your presence. I'll regard you with respect and affection. I was not swearing. I was affirming my manhood.
What an idea. What puts all these things into your head?
Oh, don't you think that because I'm a clerk, I'm not one of the intellectuals. I'm a reading man, a thinking man. I read in a book, a high-class 6-shilling book. This precept, affirm your manhood. It appealed to me. I've always remembered it. I believe in it. I feel I must do it to recover your respect after my cowardly behavior. Therefore, I affirm in your presence. I tell that man who insulted me, I don't give a damn for him. And neither I do.
I say, Summerhays, did you have chaps of this sort in Genghis Khan?
Oh, yes, they exist everywhere. They are a most serious modern problem.
Yes, you're right. I'm a problem. I tell you that when we clerks realize that we're problems, look out! That's all.
You read a great deal, you say?
I've read more than any man in this room, if the truth be known, I expect. That's what's going to smash up your capitalism. The problems are beginning to read. Well, we're free! Free in England! Now I have a headache. I've overexcited myself.
Oh, lad. No wonder after all you've been through. You want to eat a little and to lie down. Come with me. Won't you tell me all about your poor dear mother and about
saying. Understand. I don't give a damn for the lot of you!
Thank goodness he's gone. Oh, what a bore. What a bore. Talk, talk, talk.
It's no good, Patsy. We're going to talk, and we're going to talk about you.
It's no use shirking it, Pat. We'd better know where we are.
Come, Miss Tarleton, won't you sit down? I'm very tired of standing. Now we shall have the subject change that we're all pining for.
Oh, what's that?
The great question. The question that men and women will spend hours over without complaining. The question that occupies all the novel readers and all the playgoers. The question they never get tired of.
But what question?
The question as to which particular young man a young lady will mate with.
As if it mattered.
What's that you said?
I said as if it mattered.
I call that ungentlemanly.
Do you care about that? You were so magnificently unladylike.
Now look here, Mr. Percival. You're not supposed to insult my sister.
Oh, shut up, Johnny. I can take care of myself. Don't you interfere.
Oh, very well. If you choose to give yourself away like that, to allow this man to call you unladylike and then to be unladylike, I've nothing more to say.
I think Mr. Percival is most ungentlemanly, but I won't be protected. I'll not have my affairs interfered with by men on pretense of protecting me. I am not your baby. If I interfered between you and a woman, you'd soon tell me to mind my own business.
Children, don't squabble! Read Dr. Watts. Behave yourselves.
I've nothing more to say. And as I don't seem to be wanted here, I shall take myself off.
Summerhays, a family is a terrible thing. An impossible thing. Cat and dog. Patsy, I'm ashamed of you.
I'll make it up with Johnny afterward. But I really can't have him here sticking his clumsy hoof into my affairs.
Now the question is, Mr. Percival, are you really a gentleman or are you not?
Or was Napoleon really a gentleman or was he not? On occasion, as you have all seen, I can behave like a gentleman. On occasion, I can behave with a brutal simplicity which Miss Tarleton herself could hardly surpass.
Gentleman or no gentleman, Patsy, what are your intentions?
My intentions? Surely it's the gentleman who should be asked his intentions.
Oh, come, Patsy, none of that nonsense. Has Mr. Percival said anything to you that I ought to know or that Bentley ought to know? Have you said anything to Mr. Percival?
Mr. Percival chased me through the heather and kissed me.
As a gentleman, what do you say to that?
As a gentleman, I do not kiss and tell. As a mere man, a mere cat, if you like. I say I did so. Miss Tarleton's own suggestion.
Beast!
I won't deny that I enjoyed it, but I did not initiate. I began by running away.
So Patsy can run faster than you, can't she?
Yes, when she's in pursuit of me. She runs faster and faster. I run slower and slower. And these woods of yours are full of magic. So I turned, and the pursuer became the pursued.
I had to fight like a wildcat.
Please don't say this! It's not fit for people to hear.
How did it end?
It's not ended yet.
How is it going to end?
Ask him.
How is it going to end, Mr. Percival?
I can't afford to marry, Mr. Tarleton. I've only 1,000 a year, till my father dies. Two people can't possibly live on that.
Oh, can't they? When I married, I should have been jolly glad and felt sure of the quarter of it.
No doubt, but I'm no cheap person, Mr. Tarleton. I was brought up in a household which cost at least 7 or 8 times that. I'm in constant money difficulties because I simply don't know how to live on the 1,000-year scale. As to ask a woman to share my degrading poverty is out of the question. Besides, I'm rather too young to marry.
Papa, buy the brute for me.
Miss Tarleton, don't be so naughty. I know how delightful it is to shop, but at some point it becomes barbs. Don't.
Should I tell Papa about you?
Tarleton, I must tell you that I once asked your daughter to become my widow.
Why did you accept him, you young idiot?
I was too old.
All this went on under my my nose, I suppose. You run after young men, and older men run after you, and I'm the last person in the world ever to hear of it.
Oh, how could I tell you?
Parents and children, Tarleton.
Oh, the gulf that lies between them. The impassable, eternal gulf. So I'm to buy the brute for you, eh?
If you please, Papa.
What's the price, Mr. Percival?
You might do it another 1,500 if my father contributes. But I should like more.
It's purely a question of money with you, is it?
Practically, yes, it turns on that.
I thought you might have some sort of preference for Patsy, you know.
Or does that really matter, do you think? Patsy fascinates me, no doubt. Apparently I fascinate Patsy. Well, you Lord Summerhays are experienced married man. If you have some trustworthy method in selecting a wife, I shall be happy to make good use for it. I await your suggestion. Apparently neither of you have anything to suggest. Then Patsy will do as well as another, provided the money is forthcoming.
Oh, you beauty, you beauty.
When I married Patsy's mother, I was in love with her.
For the first time?
Yes, for the first time.
For the last time?
Sir, you are in the presence of his daughter.
Don't mind me, I don't care. I'm accustomed to Papa's adventures.
Patsy, my child, that was not delicate.
Well, Papa, you've never shown any delicacy in talking to me about my conduct. And I really don't see why I shouldn't talk to you about yours. It's such nonsense. Do you think young people don't know?
I'm sure they don't feel. Tarleton, this is too horrible, too brutal. If neither one of these young people have any
paternal sentimentality. I'm extremely sorry to shock you, but you must remember that I have been educated to discuss human affairs with three fathers simultaneously. I am an adult person. Patsy is an adult person. You do not inspire me with veneration, and apparently you do not inspire Patsy with veneration. This may surprise you, it may pain you, but I'm sorry, it cannot be helped. Now what about the money?
You do not inspire me with generosity, young man.
Be happy there, Joey.
I haven't been a bad father to you, Patsy.
I don't say you have, dear. If only I could persuade you I've grown up, we should get along perfectly.
Do you remember Bill Burt?
Why?
Bill Burt was a laborer here. I was going to sack him for kicking his father. He said that his father had kicked him until he was big enough to kick back. Patsy begged him off. I asked that man what it felt like the first time he kicked his father and found that it was just like kicking the other man. He laughed and said it was the old man who knew what it felt like. Think of that, Summerhays. Think of that.
I haven't kicked you, Papa.
You've kicked me harder than Bill Burt ever kicked me.
It's no use. Tarleton, spare yourself. Do you really expect either one of these young people at their age to understand what this gentleman calls your paternal sentimentality?
Is it nothing to you but paternal sentimentality, Patsy?
Well, I greatly prefer your superabundant vitality, Papa.
Hold your tongue, you young devil! The young are all alike. Hardcore, shallow, selfish, cruel, dirty-minded. You can take yourself out of this house as soon as you can coax him to take you, and the sooner the better. I think you said your price was $1,500 a year. Take it, and I wish you joy of your bargain.
Well, if you wish to know who I am.
I don't give a tinker's curse who you are or what you are. You're willing to take that girl off my hands for $1,500 a year. That's all that concerns me. You can tell her who you are if you like. It's her affair, not mine.
Don't answer him, Joey. It won't last. Lord Summerhays, I'm sorry about Bentley, but Joey's the only man for me.
It may.
Please don't say it may break a poor boy's heart. It's much more likely to break yours.
Leave the room! Do you hear? Leave the room!
Aren't we getting a little cross? Don't get angry, Mr. Tarleton. Read Marcus Aurelius.
Don't you dare make fun of me! You can take your aeroplane out of my vinery and yourself out of my house!
Seems I'll be dining at the beacon tonight, Patsy.
Do. I dine with you.
Did you hear me tell you to leave the room?
I did! You see what living with one's parents means, Joey. It means living in a house where you can be ordered to leave the room. I've got to obey. It's his house, not mine.
Who pays for it? Go and support yourself as I did if you want to be independent.
I wanted to, and you wouldn't let me. How can I support myself when I'm a prisoner?
Hold your tongue!
Keep your temper.
Lord Summerhays will join me, I'm sure, in pointing out to both father and daughter that they've reached that very common stage in family life, where anything but a blow would be an anticlimax. You seriously want to beat Patsy, Mr. Tarleton?
Yes! I want to thrash the life out of her! And if she doesn't get out of my reach, I'll do it!
You want to beat me just to relieve your feelings, just really and truly for the fun of it and the satisfaction of it? Beat away! I don't grudge you that.
I went on in other families, but that it could never happen in ours. And now, I can't say the right thing. I can't do the right thing. I don't know what is the right thing. I'm beaten and she knows it. Summerhays, tell me what to do.
When my counsel and Genghis Khan reach the point of coming to blows, I would adjourn the city. Let us postpone the discussion. Let it wait until Monday. You shall have Sunday to quiet down in. Believe me, I'm not trying to make fun of you, but maybe there's something in this young man's advice. Read something.
I'll read King Lear.
Don't. I'm very sorry, dear.
No, you're not. You're laughing at me. Certainly right. Parent and child. No man should know his own child. No child should know his own father. Let the family be rooted out of civilization. Let the whole human race be brought up in institutions.
Oh, yes, how jolly. You and I might be friends then, and Joey could stay to dinner.
Let him stay to dinner. Let him stay the night. Let him spend his whole life here. Don't you say I drove him out. Don't you say I drove you out.
Well, I have no right imposing myself, dropping in as I did.
Out of the sky! Ha! Dropping in! The new sport of aviation. You just see a nice house, drop in, scoop up the man's daughter, and away with you again.
I'm sorry for making such a fool of myself earlier. I beg your pardon. Hypatia, I'm awfully sorry, but I've made up my mind that I'll never marry.
Oh, how nice of you, Bentley. Of course you guessed I wanted to marry Joey. What did that Polish lady do to you?
Oh, I'd rather not speak of her if you don't mind.
Oh, you've fallen in love with her.
Excuse me if you laugh.
You're not the first to fall under the lash of that young lady's terrible derision, Bentley.
Mr. Percival, can we get that aeroplane started again? I must get out of this, into the air, right up into that blue.
Well, impossible. The frame is twisted and the petrol's given out. That's what's brought us down. And how can we get a clear route to start with among all these woods?
We can straighten the frame. We can buy petrol at the beacon. With a few laborers, we can get her out on the Portsmouth Road and run her along that.
But why do you want to leave us, Miss Fischchurch?
This is a stuffy house. You seem to think about nothing but making wool. All the conversation here is about wool making. All the pictures are about wool making. The eyes of all of you are sheep's eyes. You are steeped in it, soaked in it. Even the text on the walls of your bedrooms are the ones about wool. It is disgusting. It is not healthy. Your women are kept idle and dressed up for no other purpose than to be made wool to. I have not been here an hour and already everybody makes wool to me. Is it because I am a woman? It is my profession to be made wool to. First, you old pal. But I forgave you because you were nice about your wife.
Oh, Papa.
Then you, Lord Summerhays, come to me. And all you have to say is to ask me not to mention that you made wool to me in Vienna 2 years ago. I forgave you because I thought you were an ambassador. And all ambassadors make wool. And are very nice and useful to people who travel. Then this young gentleman. He is engaged to this young lady, but no matter for that. He makes wool to me because I carried him off my arm when he cried. All this I bore in silence. But now comes your son, Johnny, and tells me I'm a ripping fine woman and asks me to marry him. I, Lina Szczepanowska, marry him. Not mind this boy. He is a child. He loves me. I shall have to give him food and take care of him. It would be foolish, but honorable. I do not mind you, old pal. You are what is called an old oof. But you do not offer to buy me. You say until you are tired, until you are so happy that you dare not ask for more. That is foolish too at your age, but it is an adventure. It is not dishonorable. Do not mind Lord Summerhays. It was in Vienna. They had been toasting him at a great banquet. He was not sober. That is bad for the health, but it is not dishonorable. Your Johnny. Ugh! Your Johnny with his marriage. He will do the straight thing by me. He will give me a home, a position. He tells me I must know my present position is not one for a nice woman. This, to me, Lina Szczepanowska. I am an honest woman. I earn my own own living. I am a free woman. I live in my own house. I am a woman of the world. I have thousands of friends. Every night, crowds of people applaud me, delight in me, buy my picture, pay hard-earned money to see me. I am strong. I am skillful. I am brave. I am independent. I am unbought. I am all that a woman ought to be. And in my family, there has not been a single drunkard for 4 generations. This young Englishman, this linen draper, he dares to ask me to come and live with him in this rabbit hutch and take my bread from his hand and ask him for pocket money and wear soft clothes and be his woman, his wife. Sooner than that, I would stoop to the lowest depths of my profession. I would stuff lions with food and pretend to tame them. I would deceive honest people's eyes with conjuring tricks instead of real feats of strength and skill. I would be a clown and set bad examples of conduct for little children. I would sink yet lower and be an actress or an opera singer, imperiling my soul by the wicked lie of pretending to be somebody else. All these I would do sooner than take my bread from the hands of a man and let him be the master of my body and soul. And so, you may tell your young to buy an Englishwoman. He shall not buy Lina Szczepanowska, and I will not stay in the house for such dishonor is offered me. Adieu.
You won't mention our little conversation, Miss Szczepanowska? It'll do no good, and I'd rather you didn't.
We've just heard about it. Yoni.
Is that so?
The cat's out of the bag, Johnny. About everybody. They were all beforehand with you. Papa, Lord Summerhays, Bentley and all. Don't you let them laugh at you.
Well, I suppose there's no use my pretending to be surprised at you, Governor, is there? I hope you got as hot as I did. Mind, Miss Szczepanowska, it wasn't lost on me. I'm a thinking man. I kept my temper. You'll admit that.
Oh, yes, I do not quarrel. You are what is called a chump, but you are not a bad sort of chump.
Thank you. Well, if a chump may have an opinion, I should put it at this. You make, I suppose, £10 a night off your own bat, Miss Lina?
£10 a night? I have made £10 a minute.
Have you indeed? You'll excuse my mistake, I hope. I didn't know, but the principle is the same. Now, I hope you won't be offended at what I'm going to say, but I've thought about this and watched it in daily experience, and you can take it from me, that the moment a woman becomes monetarily independent, she gets hold of the wrong end of the stick in terms of moral questions.
Indeed. And what do you conclude from that, Mr. Yanni?
Well, obviously, that independence for women is wrong and shouldn't be allowed. For their own good and for the good of morality in general. You agree with me, don't you, Lord Summerhays?
That's a very moral, if I may so express myself.
Don't make too much noise. The lad's just asleep.
Chickabiddy, we have some news for you.
Oh, no, there's no need, you know, Governor, to trouble not with everything that passes.
What's been going on? Don't you hold anything back from me, John. What have you been doing?
Bentley isn't going to marry Hypatia.
Of course not. Is that your great news? Well, I never believed she'd marry him.
Mr. Percival here.
Are you going to marry Patsy?
Patsy is going to marry me, with your permission.
No, she has my permission. She ought to have been married long ago.
Mother.
Miss Lina here, though she has been with us so short a time, has inspired a great deal of attachment in, well, I may say, in almost all of us. Therefore, I hope she will stay to dinner and not insist on flying away in that aeroplane.
Oh, you must stay, Miss Szczepanowska. Can't go up again this evening.
I've seen you work it. Do you think I require any help? And Bentley shall come with me as a passenger.
Go up in an aeroplane? I daren't.
You must learn to dare.
All right. I'll come.
No, Bentley, impossible. I shall not allow it.
Do you want to kill the child? He shan't go.
I will lie down and yell until you let me go. I'm not a coward. I won't be a coward.
Miss Szczepanowska, my son is very dear to me. I implore you, wait until tomorrow morning.
There may be a storm tomorrow, and I'll go, storm or no storm. I must risk my life tomorrow.
I is terror. Sheer terror. I can hardly see, I can hardly stand, but I'll go with you tomorrow.
You shall. I like you, my boy. We go tomorrow, together.
Yes, together, tomorrow.
Well, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Read the old book.
Is there anything else?
Well, I suppose there's nothing more to be said.
Thank goodness!